live. Hey everyone, Mike Rosehart here. Let's see if we're live here. It says stream online health. Let's see if someone jump in the chat and let me know that I'm live right now. You're seeing me? Nothing's popping up in the chat. Someone, if you get this notification, say hello. We're live for the Wisewell show. I think we're going live from the computer right now. And I think it's working. It says stream healthy.
Yep, they're popping in the chat.
Okay, so it doesn't connect to OBS, but I can pop this chat out here. And away we go.
Oh, okay. It's not actually.
No, but there we go.
That's fine.
Move that over there.
I'll have to see if there's a.
Can people hear me loud and clear? It has been a crazy day. May 1st, the student move-in, guys. This is when all the students move out and all the students move in. We have like 70 tenants changing over today, more than that, and all the construction going on, all the units. A lot of our guys worked till 3:30 in the morning last night. I was up till 5:30. It's been a long day. So audio is apparently a little low. Can I adjust that? The gain's up pretty high.
Yeah.
Is that better there, guys? Louder?
There you go.
Now I'm really loud. I'll turn it down just a little bit. Is that better, guys? I see it going into the yellow territory. How about that? Hopefully people can hear me loud and clear. So welcome to the Wisewell show, guys. One thing I want to note, I think I'm going to be making a change in how I structure the live streams, specifically this. The Mike Rosehart channel that currently exists with now over 8,900 subscribers, almost 9,000 subscribers. Thank you guys all so much. That channel, I think the algorithm is punishing me for going live. So when I upload on Saturdays, the videos do fairly well, but then it sees a live stream on Wednesday that gets re-uploaded and gets only like 400 or 500 views. And it thinks that people don't like my videos, so it doesn't promote the next video. I think, this might sound crazy, but I think I'm gonna take the Mike Rosehart channel that currently exists, that you guys are watching me on right now, and do Saturday uploads every week, consistent in quality, maybe even an additional upload during the week if I have time. And then do the Wisewell show on another channel called the Mike Rosehart Show. Mike Rosehart Show or something like that. We're gonna do the Wisewell show, but just do it on another channel. So I'll create a post so you guys know how to subscribe to that channel. But all my loyal followers that watch the Wisewell show, there's like 400 of you guys all jump over and all become subscribers on the Wisewell show channel, the Mike Rosehart Show. Additionally, I've been getting a lot of feedback over the last 48 weeks that we've been doing this live stream show. A year now almost. 48 episodes. This is number 48. Hey guys. Hey Austin. Hey Keith. Hey Angie. Hey Shaylin. Hey Glenn. See all you guys jumping on. Appreciate it. Eric, see you on there as well. So here's the thing. We're going to move over to the other channel. We're doing the Wisewell show from there, but I'm going to make it a little bit better and more engaging. So we're going to try and because of the feedback I've got, take the show and turn it into a podcast as well. So the Mike Rosehart show will be filmed live. I might start bringing guests on starting after week 52. We've had 52 weeks. We have 52 episodes with just me. I might start bringing the occasional guests onto the show. So we'll bring people onto the Wisewell show. We'll talk about all the real estate and personal finance stuff we always do. It'll be live because I love it live. Better to do it live, better to bring the questions on whenever you want. Like a Dave Ramsey show, but without the actual call screening. So anyone can say anything they want. And it's gonna be really deep, just as it always is. But we're gonna be able to record it and put it up as a podcast. So you guys can be driving your car and listen to it. You guys can be on your phone and not burning through that data trying to watch and catch up on the Wisewell show. Because it's like an hour, hour and a half a lot of times. And that long form content does really well on a podcast. And I think with a little bit of effort and a little bit of your guys' help sharing it, we can make this into the Mike Rosehart show podcast or something as well. And so I think that's the direction we would take. Curious to hear what you guys' thoughts are on that. Separating your channels is a great idea. Keep working with the Google algorithms. Yeah, so I think it's going to help too, because a lot of people on my channel now who love my long form content, they're going to benefit from having this other channel that's going to just have all of that loaded long form content. And then the people who like on my channel don't want to watch the Wise Wealth show. They don't want to watch the stream. And new people to my channel who can't find my channel right now because Google suppresses my videos. I actually watch when a video gets jumped off and it's doing really well at first. It'll do really well and it'll just fall right off. And I don't know if that's the algorithm punishing me for whatever's in my content or how I titled it or my thumbnail, but I think I was doing really well. I was on a roll where I had that was it Frugal Living to Retire Early video, 78,000 views, did really well. Had another video, Downsides Early Retirement, 19,800 views. And then we had the spending $24K a year video, Frugal Living Tips. That one was loaded full of Frugal Living Tips, had like 16,000 views. And then the Wisewell show, I think, killed the algorithm. What's on the wrong live stream? Tiger Rocks, how are you on the live? Is there 2 streams going right now? I don't even know what's going on. Someone tell me if there was, Tagger, is there 2 live streams going right now? Do we screw something up? Just says it was on the wrong live stream. I'm not sure. I'm looking at my phone. I see only 1. I think we're only streaming with 1. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. You guys have found your way here at least, so this stream is going. On my original channel, there was a 1-minute blip. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, there is a 1-minute one for some reason.
Okay, can you go and delete that? Do you have the? Here, go on my phone. I think it's because we were private and then I put it up live after.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there's like 3 of them here. It's weird.
Yeah, you can delete
Delete.
delete the old ones.
Delete. Okay, I think it's working, guys. Let's click on it and double check. Do I see myself? Yes, I do. The best part of the new channel is it's not going to be monetized. So there'll be no ads, there'll be no super chats. Unfortunately, no super chats, but we will get there. We'll get to the 1,000 subscribers and the 1,000,000 minutes of watch time, whatever we need to do it. So, okay, weird. I'm still live now though. Someone tell me I'm still live. I deleted those other 2 streams. Now there's just 1. I think we're live, we're good. So we're gonna get this new channel going. It's examples like this. Like the YouTube algorithm just saw I dropped 4 videos. We had 2 test videos. I created 1 and I did the intro and then I clicked start again. We just did 4 uploads to YouTube and a bunch of them got no hits and got removed. And now this one's doing a live stream. We're doing well. But I think that makes the algorithm think my channel isn't good and makes it not promote the videos. As well as like, I'm just trying to improve and get better. And why not experiment? Why not break the content off into a second channel, do the Mike Rosehart show, take all the videos from there and put them up in a podcast. I think we'll just basically record the audio for it and be able to release that audio for you guys to listen on playback. So that'll be kind of cool. Okay. Hey Mike, once again, so awesome meeting you at OREC. Thanks Mattel, appreciate that so much. It was great meeting you guys at OREC. A lot of you guys who came out to the Ontario Real Estate Conference. It was great meeting, I think I met 20 or 30 of you guys in total. But Mattel, you were definitely one of the top front runners there, and I really appreciate you guys spending the time that you did with me. What have I been up to? I'm buying a business. So very interesting, buying a really big business we'll call it the 4 to 10 million sales range. Can't talk too much about it because I'm under just non-disclosure. But as an interesting aside, for those people, anyone who has capital, like a decent amount of capital sitting around, we're talking 100,000 plus, maybe 200,000, that kind of thing, and they want to get involved in that, sidebar, DM me, hit me up on Messenger. I'd definitely be interested in borrowing that capital and paying like an 8 to 12% guarantee return to invest in that business. And then once we get the inventory rolled over, we're going to basically pay back a lot of that loan or let it keep rolling into different things. We can move it from the business to the real estate aspect if you wanted to as well. So that's something I am doing on the like personal side for those people who are having a pile of cash they're sitting on. And there are a lot of people actually, myself included, that had a pile of cash they were sitting on and were like, hey, we need to deploy this cash, but where do we put it to work? Or hey, I'm looking for the right deal, but until I can find that deal, I have investors right now who are like, Mike, I have 500 grand, let's go get a deal, but I can't find the right deal for them. Instead of having their money sit for 6 months doing nothing, I can go put it to work at like 10%. And the plan is to roll it from the business side. We'll invest in some businesses, do some stuff that way, and then invest in the real estate. So it's just an option for people who are kind of interested in that. Just throwing it out to the universe. Yeah, so I'm going to be closing on that business. Really excited about that because it has the potential to generate about $1 million in EBITDA, which is amazing. That's a ton of money. And the real estate stuff today has been brutal. I got through taxes. Those people who follow me on Instagram at Mike Rosehart know that I survived taxes, and it was brutal. It was actually, I went all night, I went all morning, I went all day, but I got the reports filed. Our tax return was 212 pages. And I had to manually enter the information line by line for 19 T776s. 19 T776s is a mini income statement with basically for each property. So that was a lot of work to do. No more JVs. It's a lot of tax paperwork. It'd be a lot nicer if I just put it all in the corp now. So we're doing everything inside of the corp now. No more of the personal properties with the partnerships. It gets very muddy. We're gonna do everything clean with a management contract and a share profit proceeds sharing agreement, all done inside of a corp. Much, much cleaner. Get the flipping corp up and running. Gonna have that flipping corp up and running. Why? Because when you flip properties inside of an incorporation in Canada, you're taxed at 12.5% for 2019. if you keep the money in the corp. Of course, when you dividend yourself out, you'll be grossed up on that and you have to pay the equivalent tax for your rate. But if you hold that money inside of a corp and you continue to buy properties inside that flipping corp, tax 12.5%. So don't flip in your personal name. Don't do it. If you're flipping a property in your personal name, you need to say your primary intention was rental income. So rent that property out for a while before you sell it. Make your primary intention to rent it out. And if things go south and you have to sell, that's okay. If the market heats up and you decide to sell, but it wasn't your intention to flip, that's okay. Then you can get capital gains. You don't get capital gains exemption if your intention was to buy the property and flip it. If you're gonna flip, flip inside a corp. If you're gonna buy and hold, don't buy and hold inside of a corp until you're huge. When you're small, like under 10 properties, you should buy and hold rental property and collect rental income in your personal name, probably. Unless your income is really high. If you're in the top marginal brackets, you're bringing in well into the 6 figures income, it can make sense to own the property inside of the corp, net of administrative, legal, and accounting fees to keep that corporation alive, to keep that shell alive. Okay, let's get some questions here. You guys can jump in the comments and drop any questions you'd like. We're doing a regular Wisewell show, but maybe next week, maybe the week after, I'm gonna start this new channel. I don't know if I'll make it before next Wednesday, but I'll try. Start this new channel, give you guys plenty of notifications. I'll drop posts on my channel beforehand so you know that I'm doing it on the new channel, and we'll go live on the new channel. We'll build that up, and that'll be the place where we do the live streams. I'm thinking beyond the weekly show, I might even try just doing some like random 2-minute live streams when I'm at a property, or like a 5-minute quick stream when I have a cool idea. That kind of thing on that channel where the algorithm doesn't matter, because that channel I'm not trying to, doesn't even like, it won't blow up. I know it'll just be a small channel for the niche viewers. Almost like a, it's almost like, what was that called? Not Prometheus. What was that, Kyle? What was that thing called? It was a big, everyone used to pay. There's like levels of tier, like that. That's what I'm gonna treat the other channel as.
Oh, Twitch?
No, not Twitch. There's like a name, sort of the P. You pay like a monthly subscription fee. Someone knows what it is.
Oh, Patreon.
Patreon, thank you. I'm having a brain fart because I haven't had enough sleep. Patreon, it's like a Patreon, but it's free for you guys. I guess you could donate super chats if you wanted to, but this other channel will be that. Be a place where I can just put things up there and not care as much about the algorithm. This other channel, I'm trying to get the videos to get out there, get some views. And so I need to be very consistent with quality videos. So that's why I'm gonna try to separate. If it fails, like any experiment, you guys know, if you're at OREC, you heard me speak, fail, fast, forward. If it fails, what do? Worst case scenario, we go back to the main channel and we go back to the live streams just like this. But I think it's going to have a positive effect. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna break the channels up a little bit, do the Mike Rosehart show, and then just have the Mike Rosehart YouTube channel where we drop long form, or less short form content, less long form. Cool, let's hit some of these questions up. Okay, what unique methods do you typically use to source off-market deals? Austin, you know what I'd use. So wholesalers is a big one. Make connections with wholesalers. If you can't make connections, train people. If there are no wholesalers in your market, become the wholesaler and then train bird dogs to bring you deals. So there are a lot of strategies under bird dogging and wholesaling that you can use to find off-market deals. You can shake every tree from Facebook Marketplace to Kijiji to good old guerrilla warfare tactics like we buy house signs and door hangers and flyers. They all work. My favorite is networking. Ingrained in a network. People will bring you leads. I just had a lead pop in the other day. Last night we had a lead pop in, and it's actually a house that's a good flip, like a 500,000 range house. Wouldn't be a good rental property. The numbers just couldn't make it work to cash flow, but it's worth say 650, 500. There's 100K upside net of holding costs. So that's the example of a deal that comes in. You can only close on that if you have cash though. So it's hard to develop, I think, the large buyer mentality that like you need to have if you're working with a wholesaler. A wholesaler want to work with you if you can do 10 deals with them. They don't want to work with you if you can do a one-off deal. They're looking for someone who can just, what's the easiest method to sell the most amount of deals, right? And so that's one way. But private market deals aren't necessarily always the best. I picked up a deal on Friday on MLS. As a realtor, by the way, bought the house as a realtor. There were 7 offers, got mine accepted. Pretty proud of myself. But anyway, so why did I get my offer accepted? Well, of course I gave better terms and I knew how to fit, gotta know how to finagle things. So this property as an example, listed on MLS for $130,800 on MLS. Legal duplex, 2 separate meters, could be a triplex, was at one point a triplex. Very interesting. Could make this an illegal sort of triplex or a legal duplex, 3 and 3. Now on Adelaide Road, not great. Adelaide's not a great street. Adelaide Street between like Hamilton and Dundas, not a great area, but still a property with a driveway and a shed that's a duplex, 3 up, 3 down, doesn't matter what the condition is, at 130,000 in London, I can fix this property up 30, 40 grand. I mean, yeah, I do a big reno, do a little bit of work. We ended up paying 160, I think, for it. What did I pay for it? 160, 162. And I think the ARV is around 250, 260. This is an MLS deal, guys. And we'll have it all in, under 200,000 all in. And I'll rent it for 2,500 a month. So you're bringing 2,500 a month in rent on the low side. If I triplex it, I can get probably closer to 2,800 in rent. So 2,500 in rent on a property we spent like 198,000 all in on. Bought it for 162 on the MLS, guys. On the MLS. So you don't necessarily need to look off market to find good deals. That said, there are opportunities on market and off market. So that's why I look for as many opportunities as I can. My favorite, actually, believe it or not, is the pocket listed private deal. So the realtor brings in what?
Sorry, just me sneaking into the back there.
Did everyone see you sneak in?
Definitely. I just watched me.
Nice.
I was watching.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is. And when we move to the new channel, probably less than 18 people will watch this. Okay, I gotta hit up all these questions and comments. The thing is, I didn't do a Facebook share and I didn't do an Instagram share. And because we launched this 4 different times, here's where the algorithm is really weird. You won't get the notification. Like, people will get the notification, they'll click on it, it'll go to a dead video now. So no one's getting notified that I'm on the Wisewell show. So us posting 4 times, that's an example where like little amateur mistakes that we've been making cost us the algorithm. And now YouTube thinks I've uploaded of my last, like, let's say YouTube has this, I don't know what the algorithm does, and it's always changing and evolving. But imagine if I was the YouTube algorithm and there was 5 videos just dropped and 4 of them were fake uploads that got deleted, and one of them is being watched right now by 18 people. They're gonna think, wow, this guy had 76,000 views and now no one's watching his stuff. He must be releasing bad content. Let's not promote his stuff to his wider base. What they do is they do a test. When I upload a video, let's say I have 9,000 subscribers, like 400 of them will get a notification, I think, at random, or like whoever's watched my channel most recently. And then if those people like it, it promotes it to the rest. And it depends if they have the notification bell hit, because I'm sure the 9,000 subscribers, a lot of you guys don't have that notification bell tapped, so you don't get notified when I drop a video. The only way you get it is if your feed recommends it, which is up to the YouTube algorithm. So even my own subscribers, forget the browse features. Half my views come from people who are not subscribers. No, 82% of my views come from people who are not subscribed. So 82% of you guys who might find this video, you're gonna find it through the search function. You're gonna find it through recommended next. It's so important. Your channel cannot blow up if you have these kind of things going against you, right? Like bad algorithm details. So I need to get better at that. I need to do better audio, better video, more engaging content. I need to edit it in a way that's catchy. I need to become more energetic. I need a more interesting set design. We're gonna put some cool velvet stuff up. We might even get some screens going in the background. We're gonna try and do more engaging content, more quality content, because I know I can do better. I could spend more time researching these videos. You guys know I do one take pony. Guys like Graham Stephan will film a lot. Like Kevin, I know all the guys, the big YouTubers, they will spend hours planning and filming. I sit down in front of a camera and I just do it. And we do a bit of edits and put it up. I could spend more time, do better quality videos, better audio quality, better editing quality, better text on the screen. We could think through how we present a lot of the images and make it more engaging. That's what's coming. That's what's in store in the next year. We're gonna go from 9,000 subs the next year to 100,000 subs minimum. Mark my words. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do our best to grind it. We're gonna at least grow from where we are now to probably 25,000, but my stretch goal is 100,000 subs. I would love to do that, get that word out there, and I'd like to have 100 million views. That's my long-term goal for YouTube. When I started this was to touch 100 million people with the message of fire and financial independence and freedom for all to better your money. So that's the long-term goal. Let's blatch some of these questions. Okay. Austin's question was good. Austin, yeah, I like that about finding how you find off-market deals. A great source is actually just calling a bunch of real estate agents. There's probably like 500 real estate agents in town. And if they all know you, every single one, and not just know you, but I'm talking go out to lunch with them, spend time with them. Guess what? If you're top of mind, you say, hey, like if I call everyone and said, hey, I'm a cash buyer, I got $1 million to burn. I don't know how I can spend this $1 million. It's so hard. And it's actually true. I have $1 million investor money right now to burn. I should literally just spend a day calling up all the realtors. Hey, I'm a realtor in town. Do you have any off-market deals that you don't want to put up at MLS? You just want to get it done? Let's go look at the property. Send me the address. I could probably put an offer in without even seeing the property. Make it easy for the realtor to make a commission, and then they'll work with you, right? So you got to make it really easy for them to get the deal done. Say, hey, I'll write the offer up. I'll do all the work. and then they just have to really present it to their client and get the deal done. That's how you get deals done. I love off-market deals. Last year 2 years ago in 2017, I picked up 6 off-market pocket listings. So my number one source of off-market deals were pocket listings. Realtors had just signed an agreement with a seller to sell their home, but it's 2 weeks lead time before it had MLS. And I get in there before they've even priced the property, and I tell them what the property is worth. I'll pay $170 for this. They go to their client, they say, hey, you get anywhere from $170 to $220 for your property. I got an offer right now for $170 before we even list it. And most people will go for that. So the off-market realtor lead, there you go. That's one source of deal. So reach out to your realtors and ask them for deals. And don't say I'm looking for off-market deals. Say I'm just looking for any deal. Because if you say you're looking just for really good everyone calls a realtor and says, hey, I'm looking for a good deal. Don't say that. Because everyone's version of a good deal is different. You need to be very specific. You need to say, hey, bring me anything in this area. This is what I'm looking for in this price range. Don't talk about cash flow with them. Don't talk about what's a good deal. If they think they're giving you a good deal, they're not going to bring it to you. They're going to bring it to their best clients. So you just want them to look in a certain range for you. And you want to have like a dozen realtors out there hunting for you. That's the ideal. So there you go. Obviously, having bird doggers and wholesalers out there on your own private marketing efforts are very important as well. We're spending money on ad run right now on the wholesale. Well, I don't do wholesale. I'm a realtor, so I can't do wholesale. But my affiliates, my wife and my business partner, they can run the wholesaling parts of the business, and they can assign me deals and my investors deals. So that's how we cover that ground. I cover the realtor stuff. Tom, how you doing? Good to see you on. CrowdJoy says, do you agree that realtors do not provide value commensurate with the fees they charge? Do you use realtors to buy or sell? So CrowdJoy, I am a realtor now. I wasn't a realtor up until now. I'm a real estate investor first. I'm a realtor second. And I will always say that. That's just my philosophy. I'm a quant type guy. I understand, I feel in touch with real estate before I'm focused on selling it. I'm living and breathing the business. It just so happens to be complementary to be a realtor and to also be a real estate investor. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm interested in selling everyone's home or representing people as a buyer agent. I don't have a lot of time for that. I'll only do it for really close friends. That said, people who wanted to simply buy a house and they're a good friend of mine and they want me to give them a little kickback, steal some of the buyer's agent commission and hook them up, that's something I can do. People want me to sell their house real cheap on MLS. Something I can theoretically do for friends. That's the power of being a realtor, but the access to the data is so key because now they're tracking where you log into Geo Warehouse. They're actually tracking the data when you log into Matrix. They can see who and where logged in, so you can't share the credentials the way you could in the past. And so getting access to that data is so good. I can go in, if someone calls me with an off-market deal and see everything that's sold in the last 2 years, pull all the comps, pull all the data. I can literally pull up who's bought what when. I have access to everything, and that's critical in my business. In Canada, we don't have the same access to data that they have in the United States, and so you need a realtor in your back pocket, or you need to become one yourself. Plus, I gave away $200,000 in commission last year in deals we bought. I wouldn't just take that for myself. The long-term vision is two of my mentees. You guys know who you are, you're watching. Antonio and Austin are going to get their licenses, and we're going to become a team. I can feed them a lot of the business, right? Because they have the hunger to go out there and get those deals closed, whereas I need to be focusing on more of the high-level strategic stuff. But being a real estate agent does add a ton of value. So to answer your question, CrowdJoy, now, prefacing it with my biases, as a real estate investor, first, I think that a lot of realtors don't provide value commensurate to the fees that they charge. That's honestly, I do believe they overcharge for what the value they provide. But some of the really good agents provide way more value than the commission you're paying them, and you have to get past that. I sold the house privately, as an example, a long time ago, without proper market exposure, my own personal property. And I sold it for $50,000 less than market value. I didn't realize the market fundamentals were such that they were. If I had put it on the MLS and hired an agent and paid them the $30,000 in fees, I probably would have got $20,000 more for the house net of paying their commission. So sometimes you hire agents and they have dumb buyers from Toronto or wherever, international buyers, who will buy these properties at 110% of market value. So when you think you're selling 98 cents, 97 cents on the dollar, and by the way, everyone will sell their house, doesn't matter who they are, everyone will sell for about an 8% discount, 8 to 10%. Everyone will sell for the 5% less commissions. They'll sell it, they'll say, okay, I'll buy you on that. I'll give you I'll take 5% off because there's no commissions on the deal. And then they will tell you, most people in their head, psychologically, will give about 3% away. Stephen Arnie actually said that, and I believe it. I've seen it. It's true. We'll have a token, 3% less. If their house is listed for $100,000, they'll probably take $97,000 for it, less the commission. So every $100,000 list, you can probably get for $93,000. in the off-market world when no agents are involved. That said, like I said, the agent can bring buyers in who will pay more than market value. They will set the market at a higher rate, sometimes 110% of market, what you think market price is. And so using a real estate agent can add a ton of value. Now, if you're a noob and you've never bought a property before, a real estate agent adds a ton of value. They can help you with all the connections to mortgage brokers. They can help you with connections to good lawyers, potentially. No one has as good of lawyers as I do. Our partners at Harrison Pence are the best. I was looking at some of the data over the weekend, some of my JV partners who had used different lawyers. And I swear to you, even lawyers like Rod Refcio use, and I'm not going to say this publicly because I don't want to trash them and get sued, but like they all are more expensive than the lawyer that I use. Significantly more, like 30% more. And before that, I used a lawyer, Ken Dungavel. He's my favorite. He retired. He was the best. He used to sell a house for me for $430, disbursements and legal in. He used to buy a house for me for $1,150, legal and disbursements and title search, everything. Most lawyers in Toronto are $1,000, or like between $400 and $1,000 in a legal fee, another $1,000 in disbursements, $500 to $1,000 in disbursements, plus Stewart title insurance fees. Some people paying $2,000, $3,000 for their, anyway, so a good realtor can recommend a good lawyer who get the deal done. And a good lawyer is really important. I can tell you some examples of bad, you say like, okay, anyone can close a real estate transaction, which this is true. Like pretty much any lawyer can close it, so it doesn't really matter. They're like more commodity at this point, especially if you're a real estate investor like myself who knows the laws. I don't even get my lawyer to pull fire and title search and rental licenses and fire searches because I've already done that myself. I don't need to pay them $100 to go do those searches. I just go call City Hall myself and get the searches. Like I don't even know them to check. One thing though is really valuable for a lawyer. I'll give you a pro tip right now. 2 lands next to each other. You buy a house, one street road, and then there's 2 street road. If you buy a house next to it, and you buy these 2 properties in the same name, the properties merge together automatically. They merge. So now you can't sell them separately. They've merged into one. You have to apply for a severance. It's like $5,000 to sever them again. A lot of lawyers, some lawyers specifically I know, friends of mine bought 2 properties together and they merged because they didn't separate them different. What you should do is put 1% in your wife's name, 99% in your name, and then only the other 100% in your name. Slightly different in titles, so they can't merge. The titles can't be the same ownership. Can't be the exact same title registration percentages. Interesting fact, I had some friends that had bad lawyers who didn't catch that. And that's pure lawyer negligence. I've had other ones where they didn't check the property taxes. They didn't make sure they're paid up properly and they had to fight for it after. Or they didn't do a proper statement of adjustments on the rents. Didn't collect the right rents on close. So you have to go after them. Or there's an issue where condo fees were not all the way caught up and they didn't order the right status certificate. That's areas where lawyers can mess up. But they are pretty commodity. Like, the top half of lawyers are all really good. And it's about fees at the end of the day. But okay, so some really good questions on here. Gonna get to all these in just a sec. Love these questions popping up. Okay, so to finish off my tangent and to answer your question, CrowdJoy, do I think they provide value? Yes. Do I think like 70% of realtors don't provide as much value as they charge? Yes. Does a first-time buyer get more value from a realtor? Yes. Are the majority of realtors bad property investors and pretty much just salespeople? Yes. There are a lot of hacks out there who are not good. So just keep that in mind. A lot of them, I've talked to agents who are selling investment properties in the description who don't know what a cap rate is, who don't know how to estimate renovations on a property, how much it will cost to renovate the property. They don't know basic questions. If you're selling a property, you should know how much it's going to cost to fix that property up, how much you can get for rents on that property. What is the net operating income on that property? Do some homework. That said, there are a lot of people who they're a realtor who just helps someone buy a nice, pretty house for them to live in, and they don't have any experience with rental properties. And that's okay too. It depends on the kind of realtor you want to work with, but don't use that realtor who's great at open houses, bakes cookies and knows how to make someone buy for the right paint colors. Don't make them your real estate investing realtor. My thoughts. I think the world's going to a place where eventually it'll be relationship based. So there'll be no value in the data, and I think the realtors will only have value from relationships. What I mean there is like if you need in a down market, in a slow market, where stuff sits on MLS for 90 days, which is that was the environment I started in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, where stuff used to sit for a long time. And it was not so easy just to sell a property like that with 10 offers. When it gets slow again, realtors will have to work. Half of them will get fired. and they'll quit because they won't be making any commission because it's actually hard to sell a house. In which case, someone who has good social ties like myself, who knows hundreds of buyers, when they're trying to sell their investment property and I know hundreds of investors, then I become valuable. Relationship based is the way I think as a realtor you should operate. Relationship based. Okay, next question. Daniel says, hi Mike, almost 9,000 subs, congrats. Thanks Daniel. Yeah, we're so close to 10,000. Remember, at 10,000 subs, guys, share this around. Share it on Reddit, share it on your social network, share it with friends who want to learn about real estate investing and financial independence and how to retire early. Any of the messages that I share. If we get to 10,000, no, not if, when we get to 10,000 subscribers in the next 30 to 45 days at the current channel growth, I'll be drawing from one video at random and no exclusions. Even my mentees are up. Everyone who comments, every single person has a chance. All my investors, no one's excluded. I'm not playing favorites. I will, at random, pick a random video and I'll pick a random comment from a random video. It could even be a sub comment. So a comment under a comment. One at random, I'll randomize, and one person gets the opportunity to have a call with me or spend the day. So get a chance to spend the day with me. That'd be kind of cool. We can have some fun with that. So get in the comments, get sharing the videos around. I really appreciate that. Like, share, and then comment. That's how you get entered in to win. Most of you guys have been entered in lots of times. Every time you do it, you get an extra chance to be entered in. So there you go. Increase your odds. Okay. Do you do your own taxes? Tom Craig, yes, I do my own taxes. And my own bookkeeping. I'm getting away from doing my own bookkeeping, finally, but up until now, mostly done my own bookkeeping as well. Okay. I was just wondering, what is your opinion on the rent-to-own strategy? Daniel, I love rent-to-own as a business model. Extremely profitable if you do it right. You can get huge deposits when the tenants walk away and don't buy the property, because most rent-to-own renters don't end up doing it. You get to keep their deposit, so that's awesome. You get paid really well. You can strategize in a way that guarantees the investor limited stress, because you put in a rent-to-own client that's well vetted, well qualified, and they will take care of the house. They'll renovate these properties, make them their own. And that just adds value for you and adds safety for you as the investor. Yeah, I actually do like rent-to-own contracts and models. Where I don't like it is the like 3, 4, 500,000, 600,000 house range in the rent-to-own. I like it in the lower price range more than I like the higher price range, only because the numbers aren't as good. The cash flow is slightly less and the appreciation isn't quite as good, because in a rent-to-own contract, basically what happens is this. The renter puts up a deposit and has the right to buy the property at a future date, call it 3 years from now, at an adjusted agreed upon price. So say the property's worth $200,000, they agree to sell it to them for, say, $220,000. So the appreciation is guaranteed. Your upside is locked in. If the market dips, the renter will just dip and not buy the property, or they might buy the property because they don't want to lose their deposit, and so they'll be forced to buy property at higher than market value. So basically, you end up winning as the investor because of that, and you get a fixed rate of return. So they would say market rent is say $2,000 on this house. We'll charge the renter $3,000 on the house and put $1,000 away for deposit against the sale down the road. What ends up happening is basically it's the same as owning a rental property, but the tenant there is really well vetted, and you have an option for them to buy you out at the end. They have an option to buy you out at the end of the agreement, and you have a huge deposit instead of just last month's rent. So there's some distinct advantages. I actually don't mind the rent to own. I've seen the agreements. They're really well done. It's not my strong place. Like, I don't play. To do rent to own well, you don't need deals under market value. You want to buy deals at market value. Just go ahead and buy. And you want to go ahead and basically find really well vetted people who can't get a lender financing yet, and then who have deposits, and then put them in these properties, these at market value properties, put them in at double market rent. That's what you're basically doing. I think the rent to own takes advantage of the person who is renting, who wants to own. Because I've seen in a lot of cases, they charge them double, triple market rents. They take huge deposits up front. When it doesn't work out after 3 years and they can't get financing and they're forced to close on this property that they can't close on, they often have to get like private financing at 10 and 12%, or they lose their deposits. And most of them lose their deposits because they've not been vetted properly. Rent to own, very good for the syndicator of the deal. So the person who puts the investor who buys the property and the renter who wants to become the owner, the rent to owner, and the investor, the person who puts those together, who writes the agreement, they get most of the deposit fee. So they're the person who makes all the money. That's the person you want to be. Rent to own is really well done. If you can build the flow of qualified renters, you need really well qualified people and investors. If you can bring those two together, you can make a lot of money in the rent-to-own space. It's a very creative way to get things done. It's very similar to the way we structure our stuff, but we don't do rent-to-own contracts. So yeah, I like the rent-to-own, big fan of it. It's not the space that I play in, but I'm a big admirer. And I might even do an experiment rent-to-own. I might fund a rent-to-own deal for, there's a rent-to-own company I'm looking into that I might be funding one of their rent-to-own deals. Just get a fixed like 19% return, and not guaranteed. I mean, there's always risk, but get 19% return and just see how it goes. You know, enjoy it and see from the sidelines. Angie says, I wonder if YouTube is just confused by your title. The other video titles have to do with saving money or making it. Yeah, Angie, could be right. Could be that I'm titling my videos wrong, and that's punishing my channel. So maybe I should just stick to like saving money, or yeah, maybe the word save money. People are searching that a lot.
Maybe. I was doing some research there, and it's across the board.
Yeah.
Live streaming on YouTube has been broken for a little bit now.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if you started a Twitch channel.
You just didn't do live streaming. I think I'm just gonna do a different YouTube channel. I like YouTube as a platform. I'm used to it. I'm comfortable with it. I think I'll just do a post on the main channel and say, hey, going on the other channel to go live for on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then literally just a post on the main channel and Facebook and Instagram, and then people can still come on. Like the regulars who watch this, a few hundred people who watch the video, they'll still check it out. I think it'll be good. And that channel, for people who are looking for really deep real estate stuff, they can just stay on that channel and all the videos on there will be targeted for them. Instead, people come here and watch the Wise Wealth show, then it jumps in a frugal living video and they're like, oh, I'm here for real estate. Why am I watching this like frugality, fire stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, it is close. I guess FIRE, financial independence, is very tied closely to real estate. Most people get into real estate because they want to make money to retire early. They're like, it's a vehicle subset within FIRE, I think. But okay, it's always very nice to see you online, and always you go very good. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Fraz. Appreciate that. No problem. Matt Carvalho says, what is the best time to refi a rental property? Do you have to have tenants in there? What type of paperwork should you bring? That's a whole video in and of itself. How do you refinance a property? The Coles Notes version is the best time to refinance a property is when it is vacant or staged nicely with good tenants. That said, best time to refi a property is today. I think if you have capital sitting in your property, you have say it's 50% paid off, right? And you've got property worth say $500,000 that you've got a $250,000 mortgage on. You got $250,000 in equity you can access. Well, not all of it. You could access like 150,000 of it, let's say, right? Hypothetically, that would leave you 20% in the property. So you pull 150,000 out. I would say that money should be working for you right now, generating you more return than it's saving you on the mortgage. So it'd be a good time if you can qualify and you're going to retire soon or something. If you have the income to qualify right now, you can go get a mortgage on it for a bigger amount. Not everyone can, but if you can, take advantage of that. Pull that capital out and put it to work. The best time is now. And I did a video a long time ago about how to get a good appraisal called, if you go back on my channel, it's one of my first videos ever. Maybe Cal can link it. It's like how to get a rock star appraisal. If you type in like rock star appraisal, you'll see it. There's tons of good tips for that. Kyle will jump it in there. I love getting good appraisals. The higher the value, the better. They're always conservative, unfortunately. They never come in as much as you want them to. They'll even always err on the side of the bank. They're on the side of the bank. They're hired by the bank. So they'll always say market value is here. They'll probably come in like right below. Unless you're making a fresh purchase, in which case they'll almost always justify the purchase price of the property. They rarely deviate from that. But the nuts and bolts of it are the best time is now, and get that money out and get it to work right away and buy more properties or invest it in something that earns you a higher rate of return than the cost of the interest on the mortgage for the money that you're borrowing. Do you have tenants in there? So having tenants in there helps if it's a rental property where the valuation is based on cash flow. Then they want to see a net operating income statement. I always print one off, show my rents, show all my expenses, and then show the value of the property at market cap rate. In my market, it's about a 6 to an 8. So if I show it a 7 cap rate, value is this, it helps justify my price with comparables. Most appraisals are relying on comparables here in Ontario and Canada, but they do take income approach into effect. Mike, what do you do when you use two subs? One of them screws something up and they blame each other. Thanks. William, this is so common. Subs always blame each other. It's really annoying. What are my thoughts? It's tough. It's tough when subs fight. It's tough when they blame each other. Subcontractors. Yeah, sorry. People probably, if you're not in the construction industry, don't understand what I'm talking about there. So, subcontractors are basically like your framers, your drywallers, your electricians, your carpenters, your plumbers, whatever it is, HVAC guys. But one guy will, step on the toes of another, right? The boarder won't back frame, the framer won't back frame, so the boarder can, board his corners. He'll leave the strapping off. So then the boarder has to go add 2x4, cut 2x4 strips down, put them in. And it makes his job harder. That's the framer's fault. That's a justified, real example of where the framer has made the drywaller's life difficult. And the drywaller didn't screw off all the screws properly, so the mutter and taper that came in after did the 3 coats of mud and tape on the board, they're stuck screwing in screws or fixing, where holes were made or damage is done to the drywall. So a bad boarder causes issues for the mutter and taper. And then maybe the boarder boarded over something the electrician hadn't finished yet, and so electrician's peed off because he had run a wire and he didn't take a picture before he left or something, so he can't remember where he ran it or whatever. People in the trade step on each other all the time. It's just the nature of it. You just gotta do your best to muddle through it. If I had more specifics, maybe I could give you a bit more insight into that, William. Rady says, investing in real estate, sorry, that's your title, your name. So take Graham's YouTube course, it is great. Super frugal here, but I might just do that. Yeah, Graham's great. He has great tips. A very smart guy, knows a lot about the algorithm and all that.
And you got to see him on weekend.
I did go on Instagram. You can see I have pictures with Graham. Graham's a good guy. I like Graham a lot. He and I are friends. He gives me a lot of good tips. In fact, it was Graham Stephan himself who told me to make a second channel and said, stop going live on your main channel. It's killing your algorithm. From the God himself with, 500,000 plus subscribers and millions of views. So there you go.
And $99,000 a month.
Yeah.
That
He shared that at the conference. He's making $99,000. He's making $1.3 million, $100,000 a month. That's wild, right? Like at that point, you almost I don't even want to be flipping houses. I just want to be making YouTube videos. Like at $100,000 a month, I might just hire. At that point, I would still do it, but I would hire managers and I'd have a manager, an office manager, a GM. I'd have so many layers of people that by the time the shit got to me, it would smell so nice. Like everyone would take the raw, and then I would just get the last layer. Be like, oh Mike, we have all these problems, but it's by the way, it's fixed. It's like, okay, thanks for telling me.
Jimmy dealt with this one, and Patsy dealt with that one.
That's right. That's the life I want to get to. So maybe we'll get there someday. I didn't start this YouTube channel to make money. And so as cool as that is, I don't think that's in the cards for me. I don't put the time in that Graham does. I don't create the quality. I don't have the personality that most YouTubers that are in that top level do. I could refine mine probably and get there, I think. Obviously, I'm still going for it. But my mission with this was supposed to be to help as many people as possible. It just so happens for the YouTube algorithm to help a lot of people, YouTube needs to be making a lot of money off my ads. So my videos need to go viral. And so a viral video also aligns with my original mission, which was to get this message out and help as many people as I can without being, I'm basically your financial advisor, your real estate advisor, your entertainer. That's what I'm doing with this channel. I'm basically a financial advisor for people. But instead of helping 1 to 1 or 1 to 2, I can help 1 to 10,000, which is the goal of this channel. And that goal also aligns with making a ton of money on a YouTube channel.
True.
So that's kind of a win-win.
And then you can pay your editor.
That's what you call a win-win.
Someday.
Exactly. Well, you got to work off the house. But yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, well, I'm still working off that for now.
We're getting there. Yeah. Well, I'm paying you technically through that. But yes,
Exactly.
if we can get revenue in here, then I can start paying Kyle a proper salary. And he's going to run out of the revenue that on that house. It's going to run out. Eventually, it's going to run out. I think by was it 18 months? So that puts us at not this November, but 6 months from then, whenever that is, April. So that means we need to get this channel off the ground by then. We have what do you call it? We have a runway, and we've got to get the runway off the ground. So there's money. We need to make it worthwhile. You need 100,000 views on a video. 100,000 views on a video gives you, or 10,000 views on a video gives you $100. So 100,000 views could give you, is that right? I think it's a penny a view. So 1,000 views gets you $10. So 2,000 views on a video gets you $18. My video just got 2,000 views. It has $18 in revenue. So we can do the math on that and say that if I got 100,000 views, I'd make $1,000, which then we can afford. That's editing and stuff. That's when it gets good, right? Yeah. Then we got a few $100 in there for the editing portion of it, and we have money for trips. We can go and visit famous people like Ben Mala. We could have fun, right? Then it's okay, how do I get some write-offs for this business because we have so much income coming in? That's a good problem to have. Yeah. Maybe we'll get there, but for now, let's just keep going at it. If I don't, it's okay. at the end of the day, I'm okay with that. But share it around. I would appreciate a share of this, of my best videos, the ones you liked. Throw them on Reddit. That's a good place to share this stuff around. Maybe if enough of us all poked bigger pockets, I could get on bigger pockets. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. How do you find a good lawyer with low fees? Call around or network? Tom Craig, yeah, so networking is great. I just called around. Referrals are great. The lawyer I have now was a referral actually, but I did call around in the beginning and called 10 lawyers and had them each quote out. So when you buy a property, just call 10 lawyers, get them all to quote it out for you in writing. Very important. A lot of lawyers will sneak in file opening, file storage fees. They'll say they have the cheapest legal fee around, but then you go in their disbursements and they've ravaged you. On the disbursement side, they'll bake in these like postage for $80 when like the other lawyers are charging 20. And so the discretionary disbursements are where you got to be very careful. But you can ask them leading questions and find out if they're able to cut it or not. How much do you estimate for utilities and maintenance per tenant? CrowdJoin. So how do you estimate it? Depends on the profile of the tenant. So a student uses way more utilities than a family individual might. If it's by the bedroom, you'd estimate higher utilities than if it was a whole house. I use historicals. So if I have a house that's like a $200,000 house, the price doesn't matter. If I had 1,000 square foot bungalow of a certain year with certain insulation, depends on the window quality and the attic, I give it an overall rating out of 10. It's like how energy efficient is it? Is it like a 5 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? So you can kind of rate it how efficient it is, and then I extrapolate from there. So my really efficient houses with decent tenants in them, I can see what the hydro and water and the gas are, and I just use those same numbers on this property. If it's a really bad property, I look to my worst properties in my portfolio and I use those as examples. But a typical rule of thumb is, and like rule of thumbs aren't good, I actually, instead of rule of thumb, much prefer you to look at properties you already have and copy the numbers from those, right? Real actual data and extrapolate that way. But if you had to try to generally estimate, it's around $75 in utilities per bedroom in a 5-bedroom house. So basically a 3-bedroom house would use $200 roughly in utilities, and a 2-bedroom unit would use another $150 in utilities. This is on the higher side. This is the conservative side. So if you had a 5-bedroom duplex, your upper would probably use $200 a month. Your lower would probably use like $100, $150 a month, roughly, in my area. And remember, everyone pays different hydro rates. In the United States, they have some really cheap hydro rates. In places like, in places like Hawaii, it's really expensive, I hear. So.
Pretty expensive here in Canada, but I don't think it's bad. It's not as bad as some places. So.
Okay.
No, we're not getting screwed like Venezuela, where they don't even have hydro right now.
True. Well, somehow they do, because I have a VA, a virtual assistant, who does all of our bookkeeping for our company for $2 an hour.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on camera, but like for a nominal amount of money, I already said it, so I'm screwed. For a nominal amount of money, I do have a bookkeeper who works in Venezuela, and the arbitrage is amazing. You can get guys who work at KPMG, PricewaterhouseCoopers, who have literal accounting degrees, who are smart as hell because their currency destabilization, who work for $100 US a month, full time.
Yeah.
Like, where can I get someone full time to like literally be crunching numbers for me, and like I get them to like, post ads for our rental, everything. Get a VA, guys. Go online. You can find tons. I have people on Facebook reaching out all the time. If you need a VA, I have a couple from the Philippines right now who work for like $4 an hour, who have fluent English and will like.
Well, and our currency's worth more than those.
Yeah.
Currencies, so like.
And we're actually doing them a favor. Like their rent is $100 a month. We give them $300 a month to live. They're like, oh my God, I'm getting 300% on my rent. No one will pay me that.
Yeah.
So they could do like video editing. Eventually we get outsourced. I think we should get to a point where we could outsource.
I have been thinking that.
And like, we'll have an offline conversation about how we could start up a video editing firm. Because I think people would, I don't know why we're doing this live, but like, screw it, we're doing it live. So Kyle, just come sit down here. Like, come on screen, Kyle. Come here. I still have to bang all these questions. Maybe Kyle could contribute his knowledge.
Bang out these questions. The first thing you get to see is the camera.
Look at how big this camera is.
Fucking crazy camera. Oh.
That was inappropriate. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
It's very inappropriate. Oh.
It's like literally the size of like my head. People, meet Harks Creative. Meet Kyle.
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, so we were chatting about, just really quick, I think that'd be really smart to make a video editing agency where we could basically just hire people from Philippines for $4 an hour who went for multimedia training.
Yeah.
Who then we could basically just train them all. And well, obviously we'd have to quality control, create processes, create ways things get done. But That's a cool idea for people who maybe want to get editing done. That might be a way you could actually create a business right there. Automating everything, even my bookkeeping. I'm like, wow, I didn't believe I could get someone for $4 an hour to do all of our bookkeeping, right?
Yeah.
Give them logins. You gotta set up system. The systems are the tough part. Training videos to teach them. That's where we're spending a lot of man hours. But once it's automated, imagine Right Way could run relatively smoothly with a lot of VAs.
Yeah.
They make mistakes and they miss things, and then you have to go back and try to fix those mistakes, which can cost you time and money. So you gotta be very careful about hiring the right ones. But Philippines are a great place. That's awesome. Okay.
Apparently, ladies from the Philippines are very kind.
They are.
Mom works with a bunch of them.
They are.
Apparently, they're very
A lot of them are very kind. You might even end up with a mail order bride out of it, you know? I wouldn't put it past this guy.
Not really what I was thinking, but fair enough.
You know, you got to pay them money, pay them other ways.
Save your money. Jesus.
Okay, so next one is how much do you estimate for you? Oh, we did that one. Can't believe only 18 people were watching. Is only 18 people are watching currently? We have 22 people watching. That's a little bit better.
Yeah, my chat says 21 right now, but
The thing says 22, and it's the most up to date. Yes, we saw him. Nice.
yes, we said, yeah.
Would you ever pay for YouTube ads? Tagger, I don't know. I guess we could spend. That was the thought, right? With YouTube bringing in some revenue now, because I'm making like at least around $500 a month right now. The channel's starting to die off now. We don't get as many views, but around $500 a month, I could start reinvesting into marketing efforts. And the thing is, if you run like for like a 2-year period where you just weren't trying to make any money at all, you're just like reinvesting in the business, it would grow the business that much bigger, right? So I thought about doing ads. I haven't yet done any Instagram or Facebook ads or YouTube ads. I've thought about it, thinking about it, maybe.
I have to get clips out.
We'd have to get good clips and stuff.
I have to right now, both of the hard drives on this poor computer are full with all the OREC photos, right?
Yeah.
So I'd have to get all those photos out, get them on Pixie Set, so those can be then distributed, and then archive everything from OREC onto my big hard drive, and then
You have space to do.
then pull footage from the old videos, all the little nuggets, right? Like that's what
I
I
have-
want to do.
I
wanna
have
start
some
creating
videos.
micro content for you.
Micro
that you
content
can
would be
put
cool.
stuff out.
Like with words at the bottom. You know, on Instagram, how they have those bars that go across, guys, where like it's like a 60-second time bar and they have like the words pop up.
Yeah,
Those would be really cool ads to promote. I would try that. I'd be down to do that.
and that would be something we could outsource to in a small way, like just get the clip cut out, and then just send it off to someone to transcribe it, and then transcribe it, get the
Yes,
words into
exactly.
it, and then bring it back.
And if they're paying like
turn it
$3
on.
an hour, then they could do it for like $3
Yeah.
in an hour. They could,
Well, and that would be like
even if they'd watch it like 5 times, right? They could
Yeah.
probably do like 100 videos
yeah.
in a day if
Well,
they're like
again,
1-minute videos.
Eventually, like once the debt to for the house is paid off, once you start paying me, that would probably be where the money would end up going. I would just look after that stuff.
We need to share these videos around so we can get revenue, so we can invest into building the brand, building the business, getting the videos shared around. That's to get the message out there. Everyone's stepping up their game. I need to start stepping up my game too, but for now we gotta just focus on building the channel and get something going here.
Oh God, someone noticed my shirt.
Bussy Boy says, "Are you rich? You look rich." Oh my God, Bronny.
Not anymore, but good
Okay,
catch.
so let me get these these questions caught up here.
Are you rich?
Rapid fire. Okay, ready?
I look rich, do I?
What is the new channel name? Wise Wolf Wednesday? Probably be Mike Rosehart channel. So it'll be Mike Rosehart and then the Mike Rosehart channel, where we'll do the Mike Rosehart show. Or maybe I'll just call it Mike Rosehart show.
I was thinking Mike Rosehart show. Yeah.
I think it'd be Mike Rosehart and the Mike Rosehart show, where I basically have the Mike Rosehart show where we just talk to really cool people and we can work really hard to like blast out people who are super successful. So trying to get like the A-level players or even like above myself, get those guys on basically the podcast. The live show will be like a podcast in some ways.
Yeah.
So we have to get more refined with it. We can always edit out the bad stuff and turn it into a podcast and then have the raw stuff on the live stream.
Yeah,
Might be an idea.
definitely.
But that's something we're going to work towards. At Factory says, is it hard to get mortgages after 5 properties? No. You can go to multiple banks and probably get 7 or 8. After that, it gets hard, depending on your income level, your debt service ratios, etc. Crowdjoy says, do you think pocket listings are unethical? Yes and no. There are times where it makes sense for the seller to not expose their property to the world. They don't want people going through their property. They don't want to have to wait, and have people put conditional offers of financing and building inspection, especially properties that are really rough. I think it's unethical to do a pocket listing on a property theoretically where it's fully fixed up and really nice, because you're likely not getting the full market exposure, and that's not fair to the seller. As the buyer, that's what I want, because you get a better deal on the property, right? So of course in real estate you have to arbitrage what is not necessarily good for the seller. Is it unethical to take a property for 80 cents on the dollar, for instance, from someone privately? I mean, I have to make a profit at the end of the day. I can't be flipping properties for nothing, or else no one would flip any properties. So there has to be margin there for all the renovations, for everyone to get paid, and then there also has to be margin there for me, for my time, to make it worthwhile. So that's that question. A great agent is cheap, a bad agent is expensive all day long. Emma has a good point. Emma's a great agent in Toronto with condos. She has a point. I mean, yeah.
What was that Emma? Is that Emma Pace?
It is.
Oh, it is. What is that?
Backlund Bob at Mike Rosehart. Any advice to escape intergenerational poverty and acquire fire?
Change your mindset.
Mindset change is a big one. What's the video coming out the next little bit?
Yeah, so you've got 2 videos coming out. You've got
We
the
filmed
rich mindset and the poor mindset. So I think we're...
the video was literally going to be called The Poverty Mindset and the Millionaire Mindset, but we changed it. We're gonna figure out, I forgot how to title it. I wrote on that piece of paper some good titles.
I think those are
I went
but-
deep into my childhood and where I grew up, and this was like an emotional video for me. But that's the video to watch. This Saturday, I believe it's coming out. That's the video we're dropping. So one of them we're dropping this Saturday. I think it's going to be the poor mentality first.
Yes.
And then the rich mentality. That 2-part video series, they're not really going to be they're going to be standalones, but those videos together would be great to watch to answer that question. Yeah. Tommy says, hey Tommy, hey Mike, tuning in a bit late, trying to close deals. It was awesome meeting you on the weekend. It was good meeting you and Patella on the weekend. Thank you for tuning in. Bring your questions. Yeah, it was great to meet you at OREC. Sank says, thoughts on Graham Stephan as a real estate investment YouTuber. I love Graham's content. Yeah, I think a lot of his content compliments.
Numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, everyone loves his content. He's doing very well. The video I made, it was a joke just because he's a friend of mine. It's actually a really good video, really positive video. He's a great guy. He's doing really well. Okay. You mentioned your own investing in ETFs, TFSA, RSP, and what platforms do you use to invest in those? So Interactive Brokers and Quest Trade are my favorite. I also use BMO's Investor Line, only because they gave me a promotion of like $1,000 to sign up or something like that. So yeah, TFSA is the best place to invest in interest-bearing debts. RSP is great for interest-bearing debts as well. TFSA, I like interest-bearing debt because if you're investing in stocks outside of those, you fill those up all the way with invest in your tax-free savings account first, then your RSP if your income is decently high, then invest in your open accounts, then maybe invest in like a universal life or whole life insurance policy. Those are like the tax, actually I'd say before open accounts, I'd say rental properties because they have a lot of write-offs, and only investing in businesses because they have additional write-offs. But then after that, open accounts. If you're going to invest in open accounts, invest in stocks because in open accounts, you're fully taxed, and stocks, when you sell them, or equities, have capital gains, right? Capital gains are quarter taxed. They're half of a half if you're at the top marginal bracket. So half of all capital gains are included, half aren't included. What that means is if you have a $100 gain from the sale of a stock, $50 of it's included, $50 of it is free. So capital gains are 50% included. People often misconstrue capital gains tax as 50% tax rate. It's not. It's 50% inclusion rate, which means only half of all gains are even included. And then whatever is included is just taxed at your marginal bracket. So whatever your tax bracket is. If you have no income, you can be taxed at 0. If you have a 20% tax bracket, 25% tax bracket. Worst case scenario, say you're making $400,000 a year and you have a capital gain from your stock portfolio. It's only taxed at 25%, a half of a half. So half of that $100 gain is included and it's taxed at your top marginal bracket, which is 50% in that case. So you'd be taxed effectively on every dollar of income, 25 cents would be taxed. So investing in stocks is fantastic. Interest income, like say you lent on a mortgage to someone or you had some sort of income that way, that is taxed as full business income, not as capital gains. So a dollar of capital gain from selling a property or selling a stock is way better than a dollar of business income from interest or from rental income. Because this is taxed 100% of it is taxed at your marginal tax bracket. Capital gains, 50% of them are taxed at your marginal tax bracket. So
Right.
there you go. That's the answer to that question. And it was a good one. I'm glad you asked. I love exchange traded funds. I love ETFs. I love holding a wide variety of stocks. There is safety and reduced risk in diversity. So own many stocks, not just one. Own a fund that owns many stocks. Berkshire Hathaway, for instance, is a fund that owns many different stocks, as opposed to buying just one stock like Apple or Tesla or whatever you're buying, right? I much prefer to see you buy a large basket of
And
funds that
those
hold.
are ETFs, right? Well,
Berkshire is more of a,
not an
no,
ETF,
it's a fund, but it's, so there are hedge funds that are actively trying to invest your money. There are exchange traded funds, which are basically using a computer algorithm, and they're very light on the management side. So not a lot of people making decisions, more computers and algorithms holding that basket of stocks. There are mutual funds that do the exact same thing for high fees, that take your money and they buy a bunch of stocks.
Yeah.
That's
And
basically it.
pretend that people are running them.
Yeah. I mean, people are running them, but like the argument that people are more efficient than computers doesn't exist. The argument that people can beat the market, beat the S&P 500, because there's people who argue
the only person who's been able to consistently do it
Warren Buffett.
was Warren Buffett.
There's a few investors ever who have been able to beat the the index over a long period of time.
Yeah.
96% of mutual funds underperform
Yeah.
the benchmarked index.
Yeah.
96%. So that is why you should just buy the index.
Yeah,
Buy the
just
S&P 500. Buy the Toronto Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
Buy all the indexes. Don't try to buy individual stocks. You likely will not be able to if you're a swing trader, a day trader, momentum trader, forex trader, all those types of traders, in the long term, they have highs and lows, right? They'll make $1 million in a day and then lose $1 million in a day.
Yeah.
But long term, if you average all their returns, they don't beat the index over a 20-year period. Over a short-term period, you can, and there are lots of guys who beat it. They have these models that work for a while until they break again, but they have these models that they've found this one algorithm or model or way to basically trade in a way that gives them some sort of competitive edge or arbitrage. And then that model changes. Someone else finds out about it.
Yeah.
The guys who are sharing their models online, selling you their courses, as soon as enough people have bought their course, it stops working.
Yeah, they're selling
So,
courses
like,
that are going to be defunct in a few months anyway.
Right? And so people use that edge until the edge doesn't exist anymore, and then
Well, and here's
it's no
the
more
thing
good.
too is, based on what little knowledge I have of that as well, there are platforms that you can go on that are like ghost trading. They're not like, you're not trading real money, but it's like good practice.
It is. I used to
like,
trade those when I was 16 years old. I
Yeah.
traded on those platforms. Were the first ones that ever existed.
Yeah, so it's like if you want to learn about trading funds
And
stuff like that,
they mimic
practice
real
on
life
those.
almost exactly. Like there's
Yeah.
commissions on the trade, it's
Yeah.
real time. It actually feels exactly like trading for real.
Yeah,
Everyone
so
should
if
go
you
make a
wanna
practice
learn
account.
more, and if
Yes.
you are one of those,
And they'll give you
1 in a
100,000
billion
cash or whatever, and you play with
if
it.
you are one of those 1 in a billion people that can beat the market, you'll learn.
If you think
better.
you are, you aren't.
Yeah, if you think you are, you aren't.
Probably if you're
But
watching
it
this,
would be good
you
to
probably
practice.
aren't.
Yeah, it would be good to practice if
Yes.
you really want to see how bad you actually are at it.
You could have short-term gains though. You could trade over a 3-year period and beat the market all 3 years.
Yeah.
Get a bit of luck, have a bit of an edge. You won't beat it over 30 years, but over a 3 or 4 or 5-year period, you could do it. And then you could cash out and be done.
Yeah.
It's possible. Now, you've got to have more edge than the guys on Wall Street, or you have to have some edge that they don't have. And I just don't think that most of us have it.
Yeah.
That said, now the market's getting strange because there's a lot of DIY and do-it-yourself investors who are investing based on emotional, and if you can play the psychological game, you could have a huge edge that way.
True.
Just because people are dumb and they trade on emotion.
True.
So if you could try to predict that, you can make a bit of money. But again, that's more speculative gambling. When I buy rental properties, I buy them, I rent them out, I make $1,000 a month if I can rent it out. There's no gamble there. I don't care about appreciation. It's probably going to appreciate, but I don't care, right?
And at the end of the day, if it does depreciate, you just hold it over the time.
And then it comes back.
And then it comes
because
back.
real estate does this, right? It's a trend line,
It's
looks like
still
that.
A market. It's a market based on physical assets, but it's still a market.
And
So
if you're going to day trade, guys, if you are going to start day trading, buy things you believe you could hold for a long time. Be smart about it and invest in something you believe in long term. Because what happens is if your day trade strategy fails, you're stuck holding the stock. You want to make sure that it comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next question. We're going to blast through these really quick. I'm going to get to the bottom. Okay, you better win. Tiger Rocks wants to win. Maybe you will. Keep sharing, keep liking, keep commenting. Be sure to jump in the comments, guys. Kyle says, good point. This listing seems way too good to be true from Kijiji because it's sold now. What do you think? Okay. Let's see. Opening it up. 1054 McKay, Windsor, Ontario.
999.
Attention investors, updated 2-story with full basement across from playground and convenient location near the University of Windsor. 3+1 beds, 1.5 bath, fully rented till August 2019. Tenants are students and paying $1,700 including utilities. First mistake. Just had to comment before I finish reading this. Do not mention students in your listing. If anyone tries to bring this to a bank to get financing, the bank is going to say, we don't finance TD. Most of the banks won't finance student properties. And if they do, they're going to want 30% down. Do not mention students in your listing. I just say close to many parks, amenities, and the university. You could say that, in your listing. Yeah. But people probably know that it's close to the university. They don't need you to call it out for them. And it's going to hurt their financing. So just don't do it. I can understand why he did it, but rented for $1,700 plus utilities, that seems pretty good. That's 1.7 rule, almost 2% rule. That's fantastic. Newer windows, furnace, AC, brand new laminate floors on the main, big kitchen with newer appliances on the rear, fully fenced yard. The property is available for the registration of offers. However, no offers will be viewed until 6 p.m. on April 16th, 2019 at the request of the seller. Okay, so the seller is probably signed, I don't know, it doesn't say anything about that, but might have signed a form Form 244, which basically means they're not going to look at offers until a certain point in time. You can still present bully offers and they can still take them. Even when the form's signed, I still put in bully offers and sometimes they take the offer at full ask. But what I suspect here is they have listed it low on purpose. Now we can look up the data. I'm not logged in as a realtor right now, but I could probably look it up and you'd probably find, I bet you it sold for more than $99,000. I bet you it sold for like 130 or 140,000 or some higher number. And they intentionally listed it below market cost in order to basically draw up multiple offers and get people to overpay. What ends up happening is you list a property for $99,000 and it sells the multiple offer at 150. If you'd listed it at 130, it would have just sold for 130. So sometimes listing it super low makes it sell for way more than what it would have got otherwise, because you get that competitive mindset going.
It almost turns into like an auction.
It does.
Type thing.
Blind auction.
Right.
It's a real problem for the consumer trying to buy property because they don't know how high to go. Yeah, this looks like a big property.
Doesn't look bad. I don't like that purple very much, but
neither do I. Or the black. Ugh,
that would be terrible to live in.
It is. The basement's got low ceiling height, but
you wouldn't be able to do much.
Especially under that beam there. It's like 5'10", I bet you, or less.
You might be able to get a room in there, but it'd be tough.
Still, it's in a nice area. The house looks nice. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so we just looked at that house. Everyone clicked the link. They can see it in the Kijiji property. Someone find out what it sold for. I don't actually know, but it looks like a solid buy. I would smash that. If this is a smash or pass, I would smash that deal at $100,000 for sure. Okay, let's see. We got a lot of questions to bang out. Let's go rapid fire mode.
Chink Uyghur. Someone posing as Chink from fucking whatever it was. Says, what is love?
Baby, don't hurt me. Any advice to escape? Yeah, you're right. Here it is. So I don't know what that is. What is love?
Yeah, someone's trolling.
Any opinion on starting real estate in Northwest Territories? Exquisite Cross. Do I have any opinion? I don't know much about the Northwest Territories. I went up to the Yukon to visit my brother-in-law and saw a little bit of real estate there, saw a little bit of the market. Seemed to me like there was a huge demand for rentals, for people looking to rent. So that's good. The economy seems like it's very, not very diverse, but everyone who worked up there made good money. Like even in the government, you made like $80,000 a year to work in a regular job there. Minimum wage seemed like it was higher. So that was interesting. I'm not hugely bullish on it, but if you can get cash flow there and you're in that market already, go for it, man. There's no competition up there. You start a business and it's like, you start like an upholstery business, you're the only upholstery person. One. And so it's really easy to become like the largest in the Yukon, right? Really quick, which is cool. So you can become the largest landlord in the Yukon probably pretty easy. That's kind of cool. Yeah. App Factory, are there any passive businesses that pay a lot that one can just buy into? Like buying a laundromat or something. There are lots of businesses you can buy into.
That sounds a little bit like is there anything I can do to just get rich quick?
Yeah, I mean,
basically that question.
Basically, but there are businesses you can buy which have higher risk and can give you higher return as a result. Yeah. There are like ATM machines, vending machine routes, laundromats, car washes, gas stations, delivery routes where you have the delivery driver in place. There are a lot of passive income businesses you can invest in. Yes, there
Well,
are.
I mean, even you
But
were saying that with yours.
yeah, I looked at buying. I almost bought a laundromat. I was so close. I almost bought a
Yeah.
car wash once too. The return on investment is about the same as I get in real estate, but it's higher risk because
Right.
you're paying $100,000 to this business, and people could stop going to that business, or something could happen.
Yeah.
You could lose your lease, or the machine breaks down. You got to factor in those other costs
Yeah.
and the cost of your time. And I still think real estate outperforms those businesses. That said, there are diamonds in the rough. There is that one laundromat you buy for $100,000 that brings in $500,000 a year, and you get your money back in 1 year. In which case, like if your payback, you should watch App Factory if you're going to buy businesses like that, which you can and probably should. If you have money, you can put your money to work and make good money on that money. Now, it's not going to be completely passive. You're still going to have to manage the books and manage the people that are running the business. So, is it as passive as a rental property? Probably not. Is it a good return for the effort? Yeah, probably. There are businesses that are good returns for the effort. That's why I'm starting to buy into businesses, because there's good businesses to be investing in. But I did a video, I think it was episode 42. I think it was like the number 42, that episode, like the universe and the world or whatever. What was
Right.
it? That one, or maybe it was after that. I did one on how to flip businesses. I don't know which number that was. Maybe I even titled it like how to flip businesses. But go back on the Wise Wealth show a few weeks ago, and I spent a day whiteboarding, or like an hour or two whiteboarding.
Yeah.
Maybe you can find that one and share it. I don't
See if
know.
can find it. Yeah.
But that one would be a good one where you probably scroll down and see it right there. Keep going.
Yeah, this one.
This one, how to flip businesses. Watch that one, because if you're getting your money back and EBITDA is about 1 to 2 times, that's a smash business. Unless there's like huge depreciation on the machines or some other factor that's causing the ROI to seem high. You can be careful when you're analyzing businesses.
Check out that episode there, guys.
Check that episode out. It would be a good one to watch.
I mean, personally, maybe this is just me, but I think really the only way to, maybe not the only way, but one of the few ways to really just passively make money would be to invest in like stocks and bonds and like all that stuff.
I agree.
Like the stock
Private
market
lending is super passive.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not
lending
originating the
privately.
mortgages. Like if you're originating the mortgages, you got to go collect the money. But if you're just
Yeah.
literally lending to someone and they're paying you like passive
Yeah.
income, that's really easy.
That's really passive. But
Investing
you're
in
not
a
gonna get the
REIT.
same- yeah, but you're not going to get the same returns as if you're actually putting the work into stuff.
Agree.
Right, because first of all, not even monetarily, because at first you're not only getting the monetary returns over time, you're also building a skill set that will get better over time.
Yes.
Right, you didn't start where you are now.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
Dylan didn't start where he is now. Nobody's.
That said, though, if someone's watching this and has money, if you have like a good income and you have a
Yeah.
good job, you're making 150 grand a year,
and you don't want to put a lot of.
and you don't
work
want to
in.
put the energy in, or you're at a stage where like your time isn't even worth. If you're a multimillionaire watching this, like if I'm watching this video speaking to myself, I shouldn't be putting in the energy anymore.
No.
My time is literally, I can just take my net worth right now, lend it to like some flipper at 10 or 12% and make $250,000 a year and be done.
Yeah.
I could literally just like, that's the easiest path. Make $5,000 a week doing nothing.
Yeah.
So why, people are saying like, Mike, why would you work if you could just do that?
Yeah.
So if you got a net worth that's sizable, there are people who reach out to me too who have a couple $1 million in like cash or like the worst investments like GICs and treasuries, T-bills, who are making like the worst return possible. They got $1 million making 2%. So they're making like $18,000 in interest or $20,000 in interest on their $1 million. They can go lend that at 10 or 12%. I'm looking right now to seed one of the business we're buying at a few $1 million. We're looking to borrow 5% of the value of the business. And so we're looking to borrow $250,000 right now in a strong cash flowing business. I would pay anyone 10% right now. So someone had, say, $500,000 sitting around, I would pay them $50,000 a year in interest on their $500,000. And a lot of people have $500,000. The average Toronto, Vancouver home resident has more than $1 million net worth. So a lot of people, the average person in Toronto or Vancouver has $1 million.
Yeah.
That means they could get $100,000 a year in passive income.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for the average person.
Yeah.
It's more than they need.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's something to think about. Okay, next question. What type of investments do you put your capital or savings in if you're planning on using it as a down payment in 6 to 12 months? Tom Craig, not probably in publicly traded equities that are very volatile. Volatile means that the price fluctuates. You want to put it in something safe. So if I was going to buy a house in 6 months, I might invest it with like a flipper or like in like a business opportunity like what I just gave you, where someone's looking to borrow money for a short period of time, like 6 months, to invest in their business. And if there's an option to get out, which you can just set up in your contract, where like they have to pay you back at the end of 6 months or pay you back at the end of 3 months or the end of a year, if you can get that guaranteed in writing, then that would be a good place to park your money. But let's say you couldn't find any of those opportunities and you didn't know about websites like Lending Loop or like Lending Tree where you can lend your money out to other business owners, or you didn't know about any of those, you didn't like lending at all. You're like, you know what? I don't want to lend my money out. You could just literally lend it to the bank effectively and go open a savings account like Tangerine or EQ Bank where they have promotions. They're paying 3% interest on your money. So if you have 100 grand, you park it there for 6 months, you're going to make like $3,000 on your money. It's better than it making nothing. It's safe. And so if you want to guaranteed have your down payment there for you when you need it, then you need to put it in something safe, like effectively a savings account. I like that better than a GIC. GICs pay worse than the savings accounts at like EQ Bank and Tangerine. It makes no sense. Why is anyone buying GICs or government bonds? Unless they're buying like municipal bonds. Like if you buy bonds from the city of London or bonds from the city of Toronto, some of those pay 6-7%.
Yeah.
So you can buy bonds from private corp.
Investing and all that, the more I realize
People just don't know, I think.
GICs are just not good. And maybe they were good at one point.
No, they're not good. They're actually the worst.
Well,
because
yeah, but maybe
I would much rather lend
the
case like no, they've never been good. They're low return, but it's a safe place to park your money, right? If you have a lot of money, you got to park it somewhere safe. The bank only takes up to $100,000 CDIC insured. So CDIC is a Canadian Deposit Insurance something company. The CDIC guarantees up to $100,000. So if TD Bank goes bankrupt and fails, which I don't think any of our big 5 banks here will go bankrupt and fail, but if they did go bankrupt and fail, so the reason people invest in GICs at a high level is risk. People have a very low tolerance for risk.
They have a low tolerance
Lending money to people is risky. If you're lending to people who are wealthy and have strong net worths, it's less risky, I would argue, but it's still risky. You're lending to someone, that's why you get higher return to risk. And someone who has low risk tolerance needs that money there 100% guaranteed. They're not going to lend it to an individual. They want to have it safe. And so the GIC was a safe way to do that. The banks now want to raise money to lend out for mortgages, so they want to get new business. So they like Scotiabank did a promotion. They were paying 2.6%, 2.8%, 3.2% for a while. Scotiabank was paying on their savings accounts for the first 6 months. There was promotions like that for them to get money in. They're basically taking your money and lending it out to other people at around the cost they're borrowing it to you, or like borrowing it from you at. And they're doing that as a loss leader to get your business. So take advantage of that. That, in my opinion, is a safer investment than a GIC. Because GIC, you have to lock in guaranteed investment certificate. That's what GIC is. You have to lock in for like a year, and they'll give you a guaranteed return of like 2%. It's terrible. But it's government. It's a government guaranteed GIC, right? Like the banks and the government guarantee it, so it's safe. It's like government bonds. They're guaranteed.
The only people it's really useful for is like 85-year-olds.
But people don't know about lending. That's the thing. That's where people go into GICs. You go into the bank, the financial services manager puts you like 20% in GICs for a while, then they put you like 50% in mutual funds, and then like put you in bonds. That's what they do, because that's what the banker's paid to do.
What's happened
the banker can't refer money to like me, right? They don't know those options exist. All they have to give you fixed income that's guaranteed is to put you in a GIC or a bond. That's all they can sell you. So that's what they peddle for the billions of dollars that they have to market. I think you can do better. Good question overall.
Because I know a lot of people in my family have been invested in GICs for a long time. My grandfather, he had a lot of money planted in GICs, and it's just like, but they didn't know the options at the time, right?
No.
94-year-old
and
man.
80% of people just trust their financial services manager, who probably has like a high school diploma or a university degree in philosophy. And you're trusting them to invest your money, and they're not. I mean, they have limited options they can work with. I got to hurry up, eh? Okay, so power time, bath time. Great response. Thank you for taking the time to answer. I really appreciate it. I do remember this video from way back. I will definitely have to remember to watch that one for sure. Thank you so much. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate the comments so much. Kyle posted the video to that, and so did Keith right here, so check those out.
Thank you for posting it.
CrowdJoy, did you get my listing link? CrowdJoy, we just looked at that one. Tom Craig says, where do you get data for comps for your appraisals? I get it from Geo Warehouse and the Matrix as a realtor, but before that I had to just ask a realtor for that data. Or there's this little nifty hack. If you own property in Ontario already, you can log in to the MPAC Corporation and you can pull 100 comps. It's called the app is called About My Property. So type in About My Property into Google, and it's the MPAC login, and you can use you have to create an account using your property tax roll number, but then you can get in and you can see what's sold in your area. That's what I used for comps for a long time. I had so many properties, I could pull 100 comps from each of my properties. So I had 10 properties, I had 1,000 comps I could pull. That's a great way to do it. about my property here in Ontario through the MPAC Corporation. Log in with your roll number. You can get access to the data. It already exists. Realtors think they're like hiding something special, but you can already pull comps if you own real estate in Ontario. Most people don't know that. I have friends who are good real estate investors who didn't know that at OREC. I mentioned it to someone. They're like, really? I have like 10 properties. I had no idea I could do that. So there you go. That's how you can pull comps. Tell them I just saved you a bit of money. Where do you see the real estate market going in the short term?
Wait and see.
Watch the market crash video. I shared a little bit about my thoughts on the real estate market. I think short term, it depends on the city you're investing in. I think Vancouver is a totally different market than London. There's a totally different market than Toronto. There's a totally different market than New Brunswick and Newfoundland. There's a totally different market than Winnipeg. There's a totally different market than any city. And I can keep going on and on, Calgary, etc. Every market's slightly different, and it depends on a lot of factors. I feel really good about the London market right now. I would like to see it cool off. It is starting to cool off a little bit.
Yep.
It's a seasonal cool off. In the summer, in the heat of the summer, people go away and people sell in May and go away. That's like the thing in the stock world and in the real estate world. They go travel, the kids get out of school. No one's looking to buy properties. People get busy. In the summer, you go to the beach, you hang out with friends. You're just less of a grinder. The same is true in November, December.
Yeah.
November, December, for some reason, everyone's wrapping up the year. It's getting close to Christmas.
Yeah.
And then in January, people have New Year's goals. And so it starts, right in January, it doesn't pick up, but by February, things start to pick up again, even though it's cold.
Right.
Traditionally, when it's really hot and really cold here in my market, things slow down. That's the time to buy because people don't want to go out and look at property. So think, when do people not want to look at property? That's when to go buy.
That's when to go buy.
So short term, I think that barring those seasonal effects, I think the market here in London has strong fundamentals. We have really good economy here. We have a lot of attention from international investors starting up. I'm still neutral to bullish on London in the next 12 months. Even if we had a pullback, I'm buying at a good enough discount that I'm okay. I'm still buying. What are some of the key takeaways from Ontario Real Estate Conference this weekend? Tom Craig. Kyle, what are some of the key takeaways for you?
What are some of my key takeaways?
Yeah.
Always use a flash when you're shooting a conference.
Oh, Kyle was the to preface this with his biases he's about to give for his, he was the photographer for the event.
Yes.
So his comments will be media related.
I also work with the Real Estate Rat Pack, so we were Peter and I were the ones shooting the event, and
I think having food was
it-
good. They did the food if you
The
went to the
food
property
was good.
management
The food
thing.
was good.
You've got to have food at a conference like that for everyone, I think.
It's really helpful, and that's part of the reason why the ticket price goes up, because that actually is expensive
I'm hurrying.
for the conference.
I got to wrap it up here. I'm sorry, guys. Lace is banging. One takeaway, Kyle. Give me your one takeaway.
One takeaway.
Real estate related.
I'm going to refer to a comment that Jeff Weibo got texted to him this morning because of his radio broadcast that he did today. And real estate investors are not greedy. They really want to teach you more about how to do it yourself. Just because they're wealthy doesn't mean they're greedy. And I thoroughly believe that. Because he had someone text him this morning about, I don't know, I'd have to dig up the comment, but it was some person who decided to text him and tell him that he was terrible because they're trying to take over the real estate market or something like that. And it's like every single investor that spoke at that conference had options for either paid or cheap or free coaching of some kind. Half of the people there had YouTube channels where free knowledge is given away.
I think that
Right? So these people want to change the world for the better.
I agree with that. I think there was a ton of great networking. That was my takeaway was with networking.
Yeah.
They got a lot of great people together.
Yeah. Because even just networking gives you that same option.
I think they should
Right.
send out a feedback request, an anonymous feedback request to everyone who attended.
Yeah.
Because all the people who didn't enjoy, they're never going to tell Matt or Jeff because they don't want to hurt the relationship. They would never tell anyone who's close to the network, right?
Right.
And some feedback I didn't feel this way. It wasn't my opinion, but I did have some people that I sold tickets to tell me that they kind of thought that it was a bit salesy, but that was just the nature of the people who paid for booths who then took over the stage. So it was like if you paid for a booth and you spent a lot of time talking and you were trying to sell something. That was one feedback I got, and I want this to be constructive. I don't know if Matt and Jeff probably aren't watching anyway, but that would be one thing I thought was constructive. But the networking was on point. There was a lot of really great people there, and they put on a great event. It takes a lot of work to put on an event like this,
Right.
and so
Definitely.
like kudos to them. They did a really good job.
Yeah.
And everyone who was out did a really good job, and just coming out for that time, it was great. That was a big one for me. there was no real epiphanies in like the real estate, but I've been doing this so long that it's hard for me to come across new stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've kind of seen all the people that were there. I'd met them mostly before.
Yeah.
And so for me, I may be different, right? Because I've been in this a long time.
Yeah.
But for people who are new, I heard they got a ton of value.
Oh, for people who are new,
for
I
me,
think
I
there's a ton of
met
value
people
there.
who I hadn't talked to before, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Got to meet a lot of subscribers that
Yeah.
came out to say hi. That was really great for me. That was one of my big takeaways. Was getting to see faces behind a lot of the names that I see here in the chat and see in the comments. So that was
Yeah.
great for me. I really enjoyed that. The real, the cool thing is you meet these people who you think are like these untouchables, and then you
Yeah.
meet them, you're like, Graham Stephan, he's just
Yeah.
a regular guy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Regular dude.
so that's kind of
And
a cool
super
thing.
approachable, super nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You wouldn't know that he was a crazy rich dude at all.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. Super,
There you go.
super awesome. And as a side note, for any subscribers that either didn't see me there or didn't realize who I was, hi.
This guy in the red vest was Kyle.
Yes.
Okay, so
We're ignoring the rest of
Yeah, we're gonna
a
ignore
few
those.
of these. Sup?
I like the
Are
Mike
you
Rosehart
rich?
show.
I wouldn't say
Yeah.
so. Do you think Shrek 2?
rich is all relative, man. We're in a first world country. You're very rich.
It
We're all
is.
very
True.
rich. William says, I like the Rosehart show. Buckland Bob says, Mike Rosehart, thank you. Yeah, I think the Mike Rosehart show might be the way we go. We set the channel up as a alternate channel to this one that basically just focuses going really deep on interviewing really cool people related to personal finance and real estate. Pelveshka says, hey Mike, just stumbled upon your videos over the weekend and I'm hooked. Question is it possible to take part of the FIRE movement in a place like Toronto or Vancouver? Yes, totally, 100% it is possible. It is very doable.
Your approach is just going to be different than somewhere like
Correct. I would say you're better off, you're probably better off rent hacking in a place like Toronto
Yeah.
or Vancouver.
I have a friend who's doing that.
Yeah, just
It's
rent
a
a
good tactic.
go rent out a 3-4 bedroom house, get some roommates. Or in Toronto, I have a friend. He's killing. He has the money to buy a house, and he knows who he is. Dom, I'm gonna plug you. Get like a 5-bedroom, 3,000 square foot house
Wow.
with a full finished basement, everything. It could probably be 7 bedrooms
Wow.
for $2,400 a month in Toronto.
Nice.
The mortgage on the property is $8,000 a month. So some idiot paid off the house in cash, has no mortgage, and so they're cool making like $500. They don't value that they have a $1.5 million house or whatever it is, value of it is, that they're running for $2,400 a month. That's like a 1 cap rate.
Right.
If those opportunities exist, and they do in Toronto and Vancouver, and have you guys heard it's going viral right now? You can't have properties vacant in Vancouver. They tax them with a vacancy tax. So all the wealthy people who own these $10 million houses are renting them for cheap. Students are renting these mansions for like $2,000 a month.
really
So why would you buy in a market where you can rent for half of the mortgage payment? Forget property taxes, insurance, maintenance, all the other crap that goes along with keeping a property afloat. Because by the way, the mortgage is like only half the story. Why would you not rent? So I would go rent one of those 5-bedroom houses and you Airbnb one of the rooms out. He has 3 friends, I think, or 4 friends living in the other rooms. They're literally living in Toronto. Like I think they're living in Markham, maybe just a suburb of Toronto, so Markham. But they live in Toronto for $300 a month. Like actually, it's not even $300 a month. It's like $0. If you have Airbnb one of the rooms, you could live there for negative. You could make money, control a $1.5 million asset for less than the mortgage payment. Do what you want with it. Rent it out, sublet all the rooms out, and live there. Maybe you can't do that. You buy property, you duplex it.
In Toronto, maybe it's different with houses, but are they not having problems?
It's
with
different with
Airbnb
houses.
being kind of limited.
I think it's different with houses.
Is it different
But
with
there are obviously regulations with Airbnb, especially condos where they don't allow it.
Yeah,
New
condos,
York,
that was it. Condos.
Vancouver.
Yeah, they're
Vancouver's
not-
got a full ban unless you get a rental. There's a license you have to get to Airbnb. So you have to pay the city money and then you can Airbnb.
Gotcha.
So you just pay them their money they want,
Yeah.
and then you can Airbnb it. But yeah, that's how I would go about doing that. Lots of good videos. Pavlashka.
Or would it be better just move to a cheaper city? We kind of covered that.
Yeah, we kind of covered that. I think there are opportunities where you can make a lot more money in Toronto and Vancouver. If you're already living there, make the higher salary and then find a way to live for really cheap, which you can do by getting roommates or finding a way to kind of use the space in an efficient way so that maybe you occupy, you take the master bedroom with its own washroom attached. So you live in like your own little unit kind of thing and then you rent the rest out. There are ways to do it. You rent a duplex out, rent the whole house, and then basically sublet the lower and put a door on, and it's like a duplex kind of thing.
Or in my case, for example, not rent out, or rent out, but Airbnb the master.
Yep.
With that, because like people
Exactly.
pay more. For
They'll pay
that,
more
right?
for the master.
So if you're
Depends where you are in your
fine-
life, right? Like
Yeah,
if you got a
because, I mean,
family, you got to do the duplex thing or whatever. But if you're
Yeah.
single, take advantage of that.
take advantage of the fact
Your
that
20s
you
are your
can take up less
time to
space.
make your money. Your 20s and 30s are your time where you can really
Yeah.
make your money. It's hard to do that when you're 40,
Take a
right?
hit, in the short term, so you can
Yeah.
do more later on.
Do you
down the
value
line.
freedom? Do you value that more than, I think, Kyle, for you, it's a simple answer.
Yeah.
You would rather share your washroom and have an Airbnb guest
Yeah.
from your master bedroom than have to work
Yeah.
like 8 hours a day,
Yeah.
right? Like that's an easy
Jobs
trade.
Get bored. Jobs get boring for me too quickly if they're not different enough.
Like, could you imagine having to grind 9 to 5 and still do all this side hustle? That would be terrible. The Airbnb, the house hack allows you to not do that, right? So
well, that's it. It frees up that time, and yeah, it would be.
you heard it right here. Recommended.
It would be really rough to try to, because I'm not like Mike where I can grind almost all bloody day. Like not everybody has that kind of energy, has that kind of constitutions, and I know that limit in myself. So I simply don't push myself to that point. So it's like,
Architect a
okay, well,
situation that will work with how you are.
with your strengths and weaknesses as an individual, and then you can work within your limits and still maximize the amount that you can put out in a day.
100% agree. Okay, at least really needs me to go upstairs. So I have 2 more minutes, guys. I'm going to do as many questions as I can. Thank you so much for the help. That's the exact advice I needed to start. Appreciate that. I don't know what this is. I'm going to show it. A link from Kyle. That's probably the video. Daniel says, is there a way I can do your formula in Montreal, or is it too expensive? It is doable in Montreal. I know someone who's doing it similarly in Montreal. It takes a little bit more time. It's harder to find. To develop the skills to do the Rosehart real estate snowball. So the Rosehart real estate snowball is just doing 10 burrs, by the way, guys. It's basically doing a burr, but 10 of them in a synchronized pattern. It's actually a webbed pattern. If you guys watch that video, I should redo it in higher quality because it's an old video in lower quality. If I probably redid it in higher quality, I don't want to lose the 2,000 views I already have on it, but if I redid it, I think it would do really well because I didn't pitch it as well as I could have. If I pitched like how to buy 10, I don't even know how to. My channel's just bigger now, and so if I literally posted the better thumbnail, I think it would do better because my thumbnail game was not on point. And thumbnail game is way more important than you might think.
It's a big deal.
Big deal.
It is a big deal. There's a reason why we put so much time in it.
Last thumbnail I thought was good, but I got some feedback and people thought it was not that good. They thought it didn't fit the brand. It was too, like it wasn't poppy. And against other stuff, and what we're going to do now is run it against other things in the keyword search and see how our thumbnail looks against the other 20 videos that are there. The red and the blue pop against most themes. Unless we're in a video that has, unless we're against a video that has the same color, then ours won't get clicked.
Yeah.
Once you're the big dog, once you have like 200,000 or a million views, your video wins always. But until then, you need to have your thumbnail game on point. And so we just got to keep getting better and better with the thumbnail. We're learning every time. And sometimes you do a thumbnail and you think it's going to be on point and then it just fails. And I mean,
it's part of the game.
Our worst thumbnails now are better than our best thumbnails 6 months ago. So that makes me feel really good. That means we're moving in an upward trend. You guys can check out the thumbnails on the channel. Let us know what you think. Is the thumbnail game improving? I think it is. I wonder if we could, I just thought of this. Can we download all of the 49 episodes of Wise Wealth and move them over to, and re-upload them on the new channel?
We could do that,
as uploads?
Yeah, we could do that.
And then literally there'd be a playlist called The Wise Wealth Show. And it would all exist on that channel. And then people go into my recent uploads and they just see all the quality thumbnails, all like the good views. I think that would help the other channel take off. And we'll always refer people over, like it's like the Patreon thing. We'll refer people over to the other channel where you can go deep with me.
Yeah.
No homo. But if you're homo, that's totally cool. Jeez. Way got me saying that. Great info. Thank you so much. I'm about to jump into the FIRE movement. However, I want to know whether to buy properties I plan to have in retirement or should I just save all the money? Daniel Roberts, you need to, all the money you're saving, right? You're spending here, you're earning here. The difference is being invested or being saved, I guess. And then the saved money is invested. You need to invest that smartly. I think rental properties are a great way to do that. You can get a higher return on your investment because of leverage, especially if you're going to be borrowing, 80% loan to value. Then every dollar you invest into real estate buys you $5 of real estate. Big fan of that if you're buying strong cash flowing properties. So I'm a big fan of that. I think if your plan to retirement is to enjoy your life, buy enough properties that you can get a property manager, because managing properties sucks. I just said it. I should start a video with that. Like, managing property sucks.
Yeah.
Probably demotivate a bunch of people. But when you get to a certain level that you've like unlocked financial independence, you don't want people calling you at midnight with their toilet leaking. You don't want a tenant moving in bitching about this and that deficiency. That's what it is. Tiger Rock says all homo. Thank you for that. Okay, we're going to wrap up this stream. We've been on for over an hour and a half now. Thank you all for jumping on. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you're watching the replay, give me some ideas. Would you listen to and share a Mike Rosehart podcast? And should I move the channel over to the Mike Rosehart Show? Would you watch on the new channel? Would you subscribe and hit the notification bell? And by the way, if you hit the notification bell over there, then you wouldn't miss a live stream. Kyle was a great addition to the show tonight. Have a good night, guys.
Well,
that's Eric. You remember Eric? You met Eric at OREC?
Did I meet Eric at OREC?
I'm pretty sure that's the same Eric.
If I don't remember you,
Daniel says awesome. Thanks. Thanks, guys. See you all in the comments. And pretty soon, we get to 10,000 subscribers. We are going to be drawing someone at random that gets to spend the day with me. Or if you live far away geographically, we get a call. There you go. Bye, guys. And it's free, by the way. It doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is just like, share, subscribe. And when I say share, I mean on your social media. I mean on Reddit. I mean in every single Mr. My Mustache forum and group. I mean everywhere where the people are lurking that need this content badly.
And let's immediately going to ban you.
This is true.
Like some of the
when I say share, I mean tastefully. Yeah. Not like a random post and they think
just be careful on Reddit. They might scuttle.
You need to do it tastefully, right? And then just respond back like, hey, I'm not affiliated to the channel. I'm just a subscriber. I love his content.
Yeah.
And then they can't ban you. So anyway, bye guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, the secret to unlocking a wealthier you is to spend less, earn more, and maximize those returns. Bye guys.